right now. They want to end strong, and Miramar kind of is their map to do it.
That's right. Miramar is a phenomenal map when it comes to the Alpha 7 roster. They have performed well on Miramar throughout all of Americas, and I expect them to do it just here. And I've seen them pull off literally 21 elimination games on this very map. And well, this would be the time that they needed. If they get a 21 elimination game plus the win, that could very well put them well up into first place and very near to qualifying. Speaking of which, Fireflux, Team Falcons, Noxsham, Red Force, Power Esports, all knocking on the door of that 70-point threshold as it currently stands. Let's even throw in Regnum Karya and E Arena too. Yangon Galacticos, by the way, struggling early on, but that last win put them up in top 8, knocking Alpha 7 down, which is huge. Let's see if they can carry that momentum on to Miramar.
I mean, when you're looking at getting 70 points over the 12 matches, you're looking at maybe having 4 big games under your belt where you're starting to stretch into the teens and then keeping your lower games consistent, and that can be sort of healthy to sit, right? You're getting up above 50 points on your good games, on your 4 big games, and then in your 8 small games, you're looking to put the rest, so about 20 points up on those games, which in general is going to be very doable for those teams towards the top, right? They've already posted those numbers. They've already played 4 big games. The question is consistency, keeping those lower scoring matches under the belt nice and consistent. That is what I'm looking for. You could, of course, just, if you're Falcons, just put up a big 30-point game, 28-point game and get there already, it's just that easy. So I think they should do that, actually.
Well, talking about Falcons, that's a great narrative because look at where they land. Right next to Alpha 7, 2 giants. Of course, for the home crowd, man, that's going to be a spicy one to say the least. And well, for Falcons, they're very comfortable and happy where they currently are. For Alpha 7, they are not. This might be the opening fight Alpha 7 needs to gain some confidence.
It's all on Koa as well. I think it was Narvalo, if I'm not mistaken, who didn't have a weapon in this scenario. Okay, he's managed to find himself something. Revo with the pump action around the corner. A Death Dealer without the armor to assuage any of the damage. Koa gets caught and immediately flushed as well. Carrillo with the nade and the Winchester in tow. Narvalo with the UMP and the M4, so he's got the ordnance to be able to do it. A sneaky little dash out the sidelines, hops wide, and takes care of one, maybe turning on for a second. The rest of the team are there. Narvalo hits a mad drop shot to keep the Falcons in this one.
And he's going for the third. The third is right in front of him. The squash catches the backpack, but doesn't connect the shots. Narvalo forced to reposition, pulling off a heroic effort. Now you got Redox, who's also pushing in to assist. This would be a tremendous collapse from the Alpha 7 roster, but Squash manages to drop Narvalo, but not in enough time. Redox hits the final shot. Revo will fall, and therefore Alpha 7 will be the first team eliminated.
A massive drop shot coming through for Narvalo. A huge result for them to keep the Falcons in as 3, keep them towards the top spot, and that's how you kick things off here. And Alpha 7, they're not making the front page off of this match. That is guaranteed. A second drop, hot drop did happen in the meantime. It was over in Picardo, and Regnum Karya suffering heavily losses towards Power.
Yeah, that's tough. 2 big teams taking some heavy losses, but Falcons getting that win. Narvalo flipping the script is tremendous. Falcons should have been dead in that moment. Alpha 7 should have been leading with the squad wipe, but instead, Narvalo flips the script with the 3-piece, and that's why Falcons are currently in first place. That's why we continually talk about them. That's why they are the home team.
They have got a lot of strength to them. They lose one player, sure. But it was all on Narvalo, right? You can't take it away from the guy. We do criticize him sometimes. He is French, and that speaks for itself.
Your words, not mine.
But he's absolutely nailed that, to be fair. I could not imagine a better result coming through. That dash through the corridor caught Alpha 7 completely unawares. In that moment, they had their heads spun, and they just weren't able to get undizzy enough in time to be able to pull that one back together. It was absolutely insane, and just as we talked about Alpha 7 being strong on Miramar as well.
It's ironic, isn't it? Really, the caster curse comes full-fledged, full sends, but getting out of that hallway was essential. He doesn't do that. I firmly believe Alpha 7 wins that fight. Narvalo doesn't pick up that many elims, but yeah, getting out, disengaging, and really spinning the heads of Alpha 7 was just tremendous. We obviously look at power in this moment, a replay, seeing what happened to Regnum Karya at the very beginning. Al-Haji getting active, taking one down in conjunction with his teammates, of course, and Regnum Karya being put into the blender. Some extra shots, power filling themselves today, and rightly so. You look at their group play to their survival stage play, night and day difference.
Absolutely. I mean, that for Regnum Karya, that felt like what should have happened to the Falcons, right? In that scenario,
yes. Good. Yeah.
It is the exact scenario that you imagine. Regnum Karya, they lose a player and they all go, "Oh, I'm hiding. Maybe I get a trade." Not Narvalo, and he's able to pull that one back. And we've banged on enough about him, but it was pretty poggers, as they used to say.
All right,
that's a historic.
Now you get wild.
That's an old reference. That's an old reference. That one now.
That is an old reference,
it's a fossil.
Indeed. That is a fossil. But I mean, honestly, we talked about it. Last thing I'll say, that could very well be the play of the day, without question. But the play of really,
the Falcons are doing well today, man.
Without a doubt, Falcons have flipped the script, and it's so great to see that. I spoke with Peck, right, the coach of Team Falcons, and he said it. Look, we still feel comfortable if we go to survival stage. We're okay with that. Naturally, they don't want to, and they didn't want to. They wanted to go from group play straight into Smash Point format, but it is what it is. They go to survival stage to make the most of it, and they are clearly doing the best they possibly can. And well, for this roster too on your screen, Nogsham Red Force been so very happy with their day 2 group play performance, and their survival stage performance is phenomenal. The question was, could they keep up that energy? Well, they absolutely have. Loxy last alive. We obviously saw what happened to Regnum Karya just a little bit earlier. Loxy will continue to fight out in the desert as hard as he possibly can.
Just a solo, though, a lone ranger in the Wild West. Let's hope he can keep things together. But he's got basically nothing as well, right? This is the downside. He had to evacuate Picardo on the double, and he just didn't have time to really get anything on board. No meds, no utility, limited armor, ammos, that sort of thing. It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. I wouldn't be too surprised to see Regnum Karya going down in the next few minutes, especially with teams moving so central as it stands to the east side of Montenuevo, out over towards Picardo as well. A lot of teams have started to conglomerate. We'll see if that is going to have an impact on Loxy's survival stakes.
Yeah, I think he's pretty cooked at the moment, but you know what? Loxy's still up. We've seen solo players make an impact, but the rest of the story has to be on the remaining full-fledged rosters. Plenty of teams with 4 and 3 themselves. The Arena, who's had a standout day, top 6, well on their way into potentially Chumacera, maybe over towards where Kinotrope is currently at. Still plenty of real estate within the stage, within the zone. No reason to get too antsy at the moment. I do focus my attention, though, towards Vision, Influence Rage, Aura, Intense Game. That area up towards the top is starting to get quite contested.
It is getting chock-a-block right now on the northwest side of Picardo, up towards those hills and power grid. Not really too much breathing room here. And it is teams like Vision that need to get a go right now. Next circle just coming on through in a moment. Looking at the teams around the edge, you've got AXTMG trying to push in from Graveyard, R8 sweeping north, Gamax leaving from Los Leones. Not too many teams actually have to move because of this.
Yep.
I'm going to be interested to see how the Falcons get in here.
Absolutely.
Because they're right next to Aura, where it seems like Narvalo's going to scout out their approach on the north edge of Montenuevo.
Narvalo, the hero, the reason why Falcons are still currently playing. Gang on Galacticus opposite of Kinotrope, putting out some damage, actually some great damage. We go back to the initial start, and you notice Alpha 7 are clearing out Team Falcons until Narvalo clears the hallway, drop shot for the second, and then picks up the last remaining member in the corner of Squash and pops off. Seeing the emotion from the players really pieces it all together. You can see how much that moment meant for Team Falcons.
My God, just the weight of the sheer brass bollocks on that player to hit that drop shot.
Absolutely.
It is unbelievable. And Ralph, very proud. You saw there that Ralph was absolutely thrilled with the result of that one. So a brilliant play coming through from them, and they're probably still going to be feeling themselves as they carry on with 3. E-Arena, though, with a challenge of their own now to deal with. It is Influence Rage. trying to keep things under control, but they've only got 2 players on the side for Influence Rage, and there's a third party off to the north from Vision.
One of our first battles for center zone control. And you mentioned that third party. Well, Power is going to take down Mormon. Diego starts to answer back. A much-needed answer through the window. Snips it out. E-Arena, we'll see you later. Influence Rage took some damage. They lose 2 players, but good on them for staying up. And, well, you had Power with the third party off in the distance. Vision, as you mentioned, on that hilltop. The good thing is for Influence Rage, they are quite literally dead center. Despite them not having the man advantage in multiple fights, there's no reason for them to move. But Team Vision, same scenario. They're not going anywhere. And once Diego and Level, if they do have to leave that hardcover POI alone, any of the members from Vision, they're going to be ready.
Vision on this high ground with suppressive shots out a lot of different directions here. It is a question of extracting value. You know, can you take to the mines and bring up some gems, or are you just going to be taken down with a big split, a lot of open area around you, maybe not managing that threat correctly? With only 2 points so far today, it seems like they haven't really got the wherewithal to hold a split like this. If you're going by the results that they've seen so far, as teams start to push in, their mettle will be tested, and we'll see if they can weather the storm.
Benny's been in the dirt for quite some time, hanging out, scouting. Team Vision just up ahead. You also have Loxy in this area too. This hilltop, quite deadly. And Benny setting a trap very slowly, but once he springs it, Vision very well could lose a player, maybe even 2. A bit of a shift, not too much changes for Influence Rage, Power, Vision. They're still going to be chilling where they currently are at, and we'll have to see how this hilltop fight is going to end up unfolding. Such a critical spot that teams want to lock in. And, well, you mentioned Team Falcons earlier, rotating out from the outside, coming in. They are quickly moving in, and Influence Rage has started to fire some shots on Team Falcons.
I think Falcons have just lost 1 on the approach there. Yeah, you can see they're now on 2 players. They tried to crash in towards Power. It's not going well. Right now, Power's split is bold, but it's working. They have got that western point held down and easy all the way out to the eastern side with 4 players alive. It looks like they are going to go for that regroup, so they aren't going to try and get too bold with it there. They've extracted the value from the corner compound, and they're just going to retreat off it. I think that's sensible, and they are going to be able to make out like bandits with 5 elims, and now a position on the east in a very central location.
Very much indeed. Team Power looking so strong. Team Falcons taking the shack. I never liked this spot. John, I'm not a favorite guy for the shack, man. His spot is rough. I call it the Death Shack. IG is going to keep them in check, but that's where the Falcons decide to stay. As far as I'm concerned, any point Falcons get from this moment is a miracle. Every single point Falcons is able to accumulate is simply due to Narvalo. So we'll take the victories. We'll take the W's where we can get them. But for IG, hanging out at the moment. Horta, though, curious what they do from the outside looking in, because you got No Fear and co, who's going to be on the advanced position. And, well, they could simply push up into Falcons IG a little bit later on. For Yangon Galacticus, the winners, though, of our last game, Kinatrope keeping them back, forcing Yangon Galacticus to go all the way into Papa Blue and reposition.
God, that's a throwback, Papa Blue. Okay.
That's it. I'm bringing it back, baby.
Oh, dear. Uh-oh. Yangon Galacticos got to re-rotate out on this one onto the south side, and Romeo dips back in. It's only stage 3. We are going to see them sent on in. Maybe scouting towards Kinatrope here, who are rotating out to the southeast side, but not getting too bold with it. I like that. He's heard a couple of those shots coming through. He'll know that there's a player now off in the distance. They can draw a little short, take a couple of shots. The rest of Kinatrope looking to respond here, and they'll be aware now of a presence to their south side on their flank. Fortunately, not too many other teams are going to put pressure on towards Kinatrope, so they can take the time to deal with this.
Smile swings it quite wide. Kinatrope keenly aware of Yangon Galacticus' position and where they are rotating to. Bit of a pause on that fight. I think both of them, instead of engaging onto each other, specifically from Yangon Galacticus pushing up that hilltop for the fight's not going to be easy, so they wait for the next stage to pop. They might have an advantage here, and they will. They should be able to take over the hardcover POIs just on the edge of where the current stage is at, or maybe they could just go ahead and go a little bit deeper. But for them, now having that hardcover POI, gatekeeping Kinetrup could be huge. And for SayCloud, I think he's setting the trap.
I mean, he's close enough to take these shots. He's close enough to take this fight. The question is backup, and the question is what pace the Kinetrope take towards it. Falcons under pressure now. They're 2 players alive, but for how much longer? Narvalo knocked. R8 want to try and circle in. Ralph now the last to stand. 9 rounds in the chamber. None of them are going to connect. A nice little do-si-do sidestep from R8, and that is the Falcons out of the running. They get 4 points on the match. They'll be okay with that. 46 points, not a terrible way to end match 5.
Well, for the second game in a row, R8 will take down Team Falcons. They did it just on Erangel, map 4. They do it again here on map 5, albeit again, Team Falcons staying alive as long as they did, pulling out the heroic fight against Alpha 7. We'll give them their flowers despite the early exit. Falcons did exactly what they needed to do. For SayCloud, he split from his team. Yangon Galacticus has sent their other 3 away, relatively split up. SayCloud said, I'm staying back. I want to try and attack Kinetrope if I possibly can, but I believe Final is keenly aware that there is a straggler of SayCloud hanging off in the distance, but that fight still hasn't unfolded just yet, but I'm sure it's going to happen eventually.
Lora on the west side, 4 players alive, mounting up now. Make a decision, make your call, and let's go for it. Waiting for teammates to heal up a little bit, and they go up towards the high ground, taking a little bit of flak from across the way, but their rotate continues. They're heading straight on in towards the circle here from the west edge, and they're just going to pull short up on the road, so a small rotate here. They're playing it in dribs and drabs.
Kinetrope has finally started to move. Yangon Galacticus says our trap didn't work. We'll reposition and live to fight yet another day. But over here, we got Fireflux fighting up against Noxum Red Force. Matcap, player that was truly instrumental and deep into the last end zone before. He's down. Now Noxum Red Force have a tremendous advantage, especially with Tizzy with the off angle. The question is with Scarface, he's been spotted, but I believe with that off angle, he might actually hurt Doc and Tizzy quite a bit if they try to rotate into Solus and catch.
Matcap actually naded himself in that engagement, which is, look, that's bad, right?
I would say
you don't want to be doing that. That generally ends in disaster. Of a Fireflux losing a player in this compound, they had the numbers advantage. Sure, they maintained it, but it could have been a 2-to-1. Now, engagement. Scarface actually sending away, and I at this point, yeah, fair enough. I think this may be smart for Fireflux. Allow Noxum Red Force to hold that longhouse for you. You know you've got power to your south. You want to try and hold face because third parties, they're going to come at you thick and fast if you get a little bit too spread thin.
Yeah, he's got a great line of sight too. Noxum Red Force, if they do move out of this spot, they should be spotted. Fireflux taking over the shed. That's going to be great for them. Power most likely going to be the Grim Reapers of everyone in that engagement. Onto Hora. They spot out Kinetrope, fire a couple of shots. Kinetrope quickly as can be, trying to rotate out. They finally make do, but off in a distance, you've got another solo from Kinetrope, who's firing down on Hora, keeping them to the ground. Gamix also up ahead, and Kinetrope has to fight off.
Power's position just keeps getting better and better with these circle shifts. Dead center, control of compounds, hillsides to play around as well. They're out in the open a little bit, but they've got so much maneuverability, and the teams around them have got none. That northern side, Visions are going to have to leave their high ground position that they've held for so long. And Loxy, who's been solo since that drop, is going to have to do the same. He's dead now, will not be playing on into this one. So from the north side, it's just Vision who have to make their dash. But the western edge is about to get chaotic. There are 4 teams looking to push on in from this location, and Gamex are going to look to stop them all.
What a no fear taking down the vehicle. That's going to leave one of the member from Kinetrope out in the open. He can't really disengage from this fight. No fear is keeping his head down. And it's going to be up to, of course, Kinetrope to try and get this player out of there. The van starts to roll in. Do they hop in for a quick disengagement? They're going to need to. The question is, where do they go? Because Gamix hold the hardcover POIs just in front of them. But if they can somehow distance themselves from Hora, they can live to fight another day. But I got to be honest with you, I don't like where Kinetrope is currently at.
The question is, can Gamex do this hold, right? Can they actually make it work? On the 5 matches they played today, 6 points only. The similar story back in the group stages. This is a team that has really struggled in this tournament. So I do wonder if they're going to be able to execute this hold in the same way that I'd have confidence that other teams could. A brilliant spray from Ozzy-san to find the knock over towards Ora, and once again entrenches them down in this ditch. They're going to have a really tough time. They're going to leave Jiggle, see how far they can go. No Fear on foot has to try and march his way on into this one, but it is just a hail of bullets he's met with.
But do they know where he's currently at? Do they know he's going to be on foot? Ozzy-san really IG rolls in. Hora might be totally dismantled, and IG does exactly that, and now they can focus their attention on the remaining members who's going to be up top for Kinetrup. Final, oh, big nade, 3 down. Rafa, what are you going to do in this moment? Anything? Can he even get out? I don't think so. The fact that Kinetrup has turned the fight, turned the tides in their favor is tremendous.
17 tons of death crates in the area. Everybody's going down. Kinetrup looking to try and stay alive across the road, but they've still got to go a little bit further. Everybody needs to look both ways on this one, and it is just hell for leather as these bullets storm their way on in. No Fear spraying down, but it is Ora, I think, the only team to actually still have a representative alive, but the blue zone's going to push them out, and that is that. On the western edge, nobody makes it out.
Insanity. We lose 3 teams just like that. IG blew that fight wide open, pushing in full send. No one was expecting that. I didn't even catch it until it was going down. I couldn't imagine how Kinetrup and Hora was feeling in that moment. But hey, our Americas region teams are highly aggressive, and that was a great representation of it. IG full send straight in. Well, that clears up quite a few players, and now we focus our attention. Influence Rage Diego from a distance, keeping the pressure on to R8.
Central circle shift pops up for us, and again, over towards Power. They are going to look to keep this farming up on the points now with the 42 that they currently have. They want all that they can get out of this one. Feel themselves nice and safe in towards the rest of the day. They've got 5 elims already on this match, and nobody really stepping their toes anywhere near them. Yangon Galacticos at this stage, I think, is their major threat. From this south side, the approach could be taken control of if they can get rid of AXTMG on 3 players on that south side.
It's up to Romeo to call that out. Hey, Henry, Cyrex is going to be just behind us. Do we want to push the issue and take them down? Gatekeep them if we possibly can. My only concern would be Power dead center, but hey, either way, they've got to deal with one or the other. Maybe even challenge Gamex, only because even though they're in a great spot, we know they are potentially a weaker team for Yangon Galacticos to push into. And with Influence Rage firing some shots in the location, it might very well be doable. But the question is, I have for you, where does Influence Rage go from this moment, right? They only have a handful of members left. They've been shooting at R8. Clearly, R8 is going to fire at them when they decide to move in. But I think for Influence Rage, there's really nowhere safe to go.
I mean, you're going to have to play terrain at this point, right? They do have a couple of vehicles, and it's not out of the question that they could crash to the shack that sits to the southwest of Vision, north of Power, but that's a dangerous run out, and R8 are definitely going to take shots. Little boy might be going for it, though. He's mounting up, he's moving. In the meantime, Diego trying to keep some shots, keeps the suppressive fire on, but he eats a bullet too many, and he is sent down into the dirt. A forward position, though, found, and Little Boy will be playing that terrain.
Yeah, I think for Influence Rage, they understood, look, R8's going to be an issue. Hopefully we can get it down. If so, it gives us more leeway to rotate in, but it just doesn't happen. You mentioned Yangon Galacticos pushing in to AXTMG. That's exactly what they do for just a little bit, but eventually back away. But the good news is for 2 players, at least SayCloud and his duo, they managed to push a little bit deeper towards that airdrop. And now for AXTMG, there's really nowhere they can go that's safe.
Power takes shots out towards Henry. He's down, he's flushed. Cyrex now looking to potentially regroup towards Devotee, who's trying to suppress Yangon Galacticos in turn, but will not be able to connect on the spray down. Cyrex up to the roadside now, and actually doesn't want to stop there. Gathering momentum, he's going to divert across and play on top of AXTMG's outpost. Devotee has his team regrouped towards him.
Smile drops, great shots from a distance. AXTMG refusing to budge. They may not have the numbers, but they've got the heart and are utilizing it as much as humanly possible. A team that needs to claw their way up the standings, currently in 14th with 8 points. That's simply not going to be enough, but with 2 more games remaining, this being one of them, they understand what's at stake. They understand what they need to do. Power in such a beautiful spot, still dead center, all eyes on them. But of course for Lil Boy, 2 players from Gamix up ahead. He lost his duo just a little bit earlier. Full Sin, Panda's out, and Lil Boy is looking to challenge.
Oh, with the pan, you're kidding. Doesn't quite connect, just a little bit to the side. I would have loved that. That would have been beautiful, but no, not to be. Doesn't have any nades, and he has been tagged now by Gamax, who are standing up on the ridgeline, but Power know this ridge is here, and they have to push a little bit further. Standing up, just getting sprayed down time and time again. Are they going to invest more nades? I don't think so. And they're taking shots from Power, who have been in the middle of this circle for the longest time. That's going to continue, and it's Yangon Galacticos with the side swipes. Another player goes down, and Gamax are falling flat once more.
And Lil Boy's just having the time of his life. Still looking at R8, the Grim Reapers, to his duo just a little bit earlier in Diego. For Gamix, that's 2 points in front of you. Lil Boy, I understand you're going for placements points. You're trying to stay alive as long as humanly possible, but make a move.
You hope so. But standing up, I mean, you could see immediately how Romeo would spot Lil Boy as soon as he crawls too far forwards with no nades either. It's just too dangerous here. The Molotov on the tree. Lil Boy's chilling. And Gamax are going to get pushed in, but so is Lil Boy.
Yeah, just a tough situation for both, right? For Gamix, for Lil Boy. Really know where they could go, and here comes the blue zone starting to engulf Gamix as they just crawl forward. And well, eventually, boys, you just got to go for it. You just got to move. And that's exactly what they're going to do. Surprisingly, Lil Boy, though, does have a line of sight potentially onto R8 to his left, which would be big, but he's going to focus his attention onto Gamix, and the first victim underway. Oh, he's taken down.
Oh, it's going to be on the swivel there. That was Krona to be able to keep them alive, but Influence Rage will fall. It looks like Gamax are going to be falling fairly soon as well, as Krona had to stand up and give his position away to R8, who rotated down to the western side. They're playing on us 2, and they do not have too many more options than this. There's Yangon Galacticos yet again to pick themselves up. Romeo got rezzed in the meantime, and again, this south approach was really the only chance of taking Power down, but Vision have actually cleared out the northern side. I thought they'd have a little bit more trouble with it.
R8 might be moving straight into him. There's so many line of sights, whether it's Power, Yangon Galacticos, you're really never safe. And well, the cat's going to be out of the bag. R8's been spotted. Vision knows exactly where they are, and they also know it's just going to be a duo. For Yangon Galacticos pushing forward, Power's got the hardcover POI. They've been sitting here for the longest time. They're on 8 eliminations. They're going for double digits, and I see no reason why this game doesn't go to them with the highest scoring elimination lead.
The question is, when do these teams crash around the edge? R8 concluding on the north side with Vision. If Vision can take this one down cleanly, 2 crashes onto Power's position at the same time could be disastrous, but that needs Vision to stay alive. And R8 are really reticent to let that happen. Never Alone steps out, sprayed down, and R8 are chewing through them now. Volt the last to stand for Vision's on the northern edge. Needs to keep himself together. The nade goes up on high towards Prestige, but they split the difference. Will find a knock. No, not quite. And they know it now exactly what tree he's playing behind. It's only a matter of time.
Only a matter of time indeed. Volt needs to hit a miracle nade. It's cooking, it's thrown, but it's been dodged. And Volt still in dire straits. Vision, too much tunnel vision onto Power up ahead. They forgot about R8, even though they had to have known the duo was there, but they didn't respect them enough. And because of that, once they started firing on Power up ahead, R8 took the opportunity to third party themselves, and now it's an absolute disaster for Vision.
And this is so annoying for Yangon Galacticos as well. They needed that opportunity, right? If R8 go down cleanly, there's a chance that Power lose to 2 full 4 pushes. You play for a second place, but now as it stands, Power can just take these shots for free down towards the south side, and immediately they're starting to open the cannons towards Yangon Galacticos. That approach is getting dangerous, but Verdun is traded away, and Power lose a player.
They lose one, but their position is still very, very strong. Yangon Galacticos is going to have to fight even harder, especially now with one more dropping off. That leaves them with just 2. For Vision, a slight recovery. The revives are starting to come in. The tree being really the savior for Vision in this moment. Now, granted, that is only important against R8. I still feel once they start to apex that hill, Power is going to take their heads off.
Yeah, it's really nasty stuff here. 3 nades in hand for SayCloud. It looks like they don't have too much more smoke to work with. They're looking out for R8. They've seen Prestige, but the nades from Power are just going to ring on over this ridgeline. That Molotov is beautiful. Might push them into the blue zone, and they'll go down to it. A nice result for Yangon Galacticos either way, getting into a top 4 off the chicken dinner. But Vision, they're still going, like you said. They've managed to find a little bit of recovery, but they are still struggling, it seems, on the northern side with 9 elims.
9 elims, great game nonetheless. You got to give them their flowers where flowers are due. Vision, where do you go from here? You just got to push forward. You got R8 to your right. Now Haji now starting to get active. Getting a forward position onto Team Vision. Marcelo as well. Oh, Haji's down. Did Power just throw this game away?
Oh, I don't know about that one. It is still a lot of pressure onto Vision. They will fall, but now it's a 2 versus 2. Inside the building, Power is going to start to lose pressure very, very quickly. Ragnar needs to find a way out. So does Easy. These walls have now turned into their prison.
Oh,
and the ankle is swept underneath the vehicle there. It's all up to Easy now in a 1 versus 2. All right, look at her turn things around, but the res can come through, and Al-Haji being back on his feet could be crucial.
R8 from Team Falcons, they continue to push forward, they take down Vision, and now they're looking to take the game in sensational fashion. Only 2 more players remain up ahead. Power able to recover just for the meantime. A true 2v2. Easy's moving out, he's taking damage, he's now up close and personal with the team of Power. Prestige though, refusing to back down, hitting the shots needed as Power starts to collapse. And is it R8? Yes it is, as they take a tremendous victory, taking it away from everyone.
Power Esports had the center of the zone for so long, and as soon as the blue zone shifts them out of it, they crumble. That is a great result for R8 to pick up the pace here towards the end of their first day here in the survival stages, but there are still some other good results out of that match. You got Vision starting their journey, seemingly asleep for the first 4 matches. Match number 5, they open their eyes. You've also got to look over towards Team.
Well, I mean, I'm even looking at Power with the 2nd place. Double-digit elimination.
That's who I was thinking of, Power.
Double-digit elimination.
I completely blanked.
Without a doubt. I mean,